Car shopping can be exhausting, I know. I went through it like a month ago. And if you're trying to not be on information overload, you should probably listen to this guy, master auto mechanic Robert Sokol, who can actually keep you from having buyer's remorse. And that's because we have something very topical today. That's because there was a lot of flooding going on in Nebraska, in Iowa. And those cars do not always end up in the junkyard.
No, they'll wind up here in Kansas City. Many, hundreds and thousands of them will.
Right, and let's talk about this, right? Flooded cars, what's the danger of buying a flooded car?
It's going to continually break down on you. It's going to cause you problems from day one.
Okay, well, you've already propped up the engine right here. Is there anything that we should be looking at over in this bad boy?
When a car, depending on where the level of the flood is, now if a car gets about this high with the water, you're probably pretty safe. But in this gray area, when it gets about this high, you're talking between $5,000 and $10,000 worth of damage. And if it gets this high, it's going to start flooding things like the, like here's all this electronic circuitry is going to get flooded, and it's going to get rusted out, and it's going to start causing problems. You've got another fuse box on the other side.
Robert, you brought up a really good point, right? Because there's a reason that we separate electronics from water. It can cause problems later on.
And as soon as a car comes into a shop that's been flooded, first thing they do is they take a power hose and get all the dirt and the muck out from under the vehicle, so you can't really tell it's been flooded.
Okay, and then there's something about the headlights too, right? What do you want to be worried about?
Once a headlight like this, which is about $300 to replace, the shops don't want to replace them. So they'll fill with water. They'll drill tiny little holes to drain the water out of them. And so a good way to tell if a car's been flooded, you'll see a line across the top here of where the soot that's been inside of it.
It's kind of that film, and you definitely want to look for that. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, if you're trying to keep from buying a flooded car, there is one of your 5 senses that can certainly help you out.
The best thing you can do when you get into a car is just use your nose. You'll smell the, roll up the windows and wait a few minutes in the hot sun, and you'll smell that kind of musk. And because they don't want to replace the seats, they don't want to replace the carpets, and that smell, you can't get rid of that smell.
Okay, and then let's also talk about, there was something with the seat adjusting that actually would be also a user-friendly way to tell if maybe it's been flooded.
On the seats, there's rails that the seat slides back and forth on. And once the sand and the dirt gets inside the rails, it starts making a clicking noise and a gritty noise. Instead of, it should go back and forth real smooth. Whether you got electric seats or manual, doesn't matter. So you move the seats, you try all the seats, and if it's got a gritty feel to it, it's probably been a flooded vehicle.
Okay, and I got one more question, right? So with Carfax, real quickly, does that always tell you if it's a flooded vehicle?
No, not at all.
Ooh.
There are Carfax and other places, but not everybody reports to Carfax. Maybe 80%, but small body shops, small repair shops, they don't always report Carfax vehicles.
Okay, so you can't always trust the Carfax, but you can always trust your nose.
Trust your nose.
Robert Sokol, thank you so much. Bill?